In today's rapidly evolving financial landscape, many of us can hardly recall the days when lining up at a bank was the only way to withdraw or deposit money. The advent of ATM machines revolutionized the way we interact with our finances. Now, to gain a deeper understanding of the journey of ATMs, let's take a step back and explore their history and the reasons behind their current transformation. Joining us now to navigate us through the evolution of ATMs and their role in the modern banking ecosystem is Brendan Caldwell, Director at Caldwell Securities Ltd. Welcome back to the show, Brendan.
Julie, good to be here, but your use of the word evolution makes me think that I'm going to be talking about when dinosaurs ruled the earth, but perhaps that's just what it'll sound like to the next generation.
Makes you feel a little old, I know, right? Well, Brendan,
I don't need this to make me feel old, Julie.
Let's talk about ATMs. But first, let's remind the people of the olden days when you had to line up at a bank to withdraw or deposit money. Do you remember that at all?
Yes, Julie, I remember that. And it wasn't a bank, it was the Royal Trust back when we had independent trust companies in Canada. And precisely it was the one just to the east of the St. Clair subway station at Yonge and St. Clair in Toronto, and which is now a very good Mexican taco restaurant. But it is not the Royal Trust anymore. And there was a bank book, and they had a little dot matrix printer where you go in and you'd update your bank book for your Royal Trust account. And so, yes, I do remember those days.
So when did ATMs come into effect?
Well, again, dinosaurs ruled the earth and Woodstock was a thing. The OG Woodstock, I think 1968, 69. At first they came in Britain, Australia, something like that. They got to Canada around about the same time, way ahead of the US. Canada has historically, its banking systems have usually been very far ahead of the US. It's one of the advantages of an oligopoly, perhaps, but we do get the new technology sooner. And they were a revolution. I mean, they were a revolution for convenience for people because you didn't have to get your banking done. And bankers' hours used to be 10 to 3 on a weekday. And if you were not there then, you're out of luck for getting money. So it's a revolution for people, but a bigger revolution for the banks because they didn't need to pay someone to give you your own money and cost the bank. You could just go to a machine, and whatever the capital costs were in the machine, it was nothing compared to having people do it. So it was one of the first bits of automation in the financial services industry that has greatly boosted bank profitability over the last number of decades.
Now, we've heard that ATMs are slowly fading away. Why is this happening?
When was the last time you carried cash? I have literally no cash on me right now. One of the main reasons I carry cash is that the people on the streets of Toronto don't have a tap function on them. So that if I am giving money away to people, I need to actually have money to give. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with it, but you don't need money for the vast majority of transactions. It used to be that even with Interact or credit, there was a minimum that you had to tap, but not anymore. $1, $2, which is the equivalent of 20 or 30 cents back when ATMs first came in. You can just tap for however little it is, and it's preferred and indeed more efficient for everyone. Though I think it was Ben Franklin that said those who would give up a little liberty to gain a little bit of security will deserve neither and lose both. Having cash does allow one to have transactions that can happen without the systems, without the everything. And I do think there will be likely some sort of change that will enable people to be able to do transactions without the current system. I don't even know what that'll look like. Maybe it'll be Bitcoin, maybe it'll be Ethereum, maybe it'll be some other type of cryptocurrency, but there's an independence, a personal sovereignty that having cash on a person does actually give you.
So you mentioned Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Do you think that is the alternative then for ATMs?
No, I think the alternative we're using every day in terms of just tapping our card, to the point that we're all used to it. You want to buy a can of Coke, you don't need to have $1 or $2 in your pocket. You just tap your card and on you go. But it has meant, as a friend of mine said, if you aren't paying for a product, you are the product. The fact that we're tapping on everything and every single transaction that we make is recorded, is data-based. Maybe it's just metadata, but we can't do very much. We've become so reliant on cards that we can't actually maintain commercial transactions without it being processed and known what we're doing and what we're buying. And I think that in time, we may end up regretting having given up that personal autonomy to buy a can of Coke without anyone having to be the wiser.
Very interesting. Always a pleasure to speak with you, Brendan. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Julie.